Nepal, the most impossible country on Earth. 50 million years ago, the Earth's crust shifted in a cataclysmic collision. The Indian subcontinent slammed into Asia with unstoppable force, creating a spectacle of geologic power that reshaped the planet forever. From this violent meeting of land masses rose the Himalayas, the tallest mountains on Earth. Their jagged peaks pierce the sky, holding secrets of time, nature, and human endeavor. And nestled within these colossal heights lies Nepal, a nation both extraordinary and impossible, a place where life persists in ways the rest of the world can hardly imagine. But before we start this journey, be sure to smash that like button and subscribe to never miss out on any of our videos. Trust us, you won't want to miss a second of this exploration. The roof of the world. In Nepal, mountains dominate every horizon, rising not merely as scenery but as defining forces of life itself. 8 of the world's 14 tallest peaks stand within this narrow strip of land, forming a colossal spine of rock and ice that earns the Himalayas their title as the roof of the world. At their crown stands Mount Everest, towering at 29,032 feet, a summit so high it pierces the jet stream and reshapes the atmosphere around it. These mountains intercept monsoon clouds, bringing moisture from the sky to feed rivers, forests, and farms far below. From their glaciers flow 3 of Asia's great river systems, the Indus, Ganges, and Brahmaputra, supporting nearly 1 billion people across multiple nations. The Himalayas are not barriers at the edge of civilization. They are its foundation, regulating climate, storing fresh water, and protecting entire ecosystems. To stand beneath these giants is to feel both awe and vulnerability. Villages cling to slopes carved by ancient glaciers, and prayer flags mark passes where weather can turn deadly in minutes. Avalanches, landslides, and earthquakes are constant reminders that this is a living mountain range, still rising as tectonic plates collide. Everest Base Camp rests at 17,600 feet, already higher than most mountains on Earth. Here, climbers spend weeks acclimatizing, training their bodies to survive in air containing barely half the oxygen found at sea level. Each step requires effort. Sleep comes fitfully, appetite fades. Above camp, the Khumbu icefall shifts and groans like a frozen river in motion, its crevasses deep enough to swallow buildings. Sheer ice walls glint blue under the sun, and ladders span voids where a single mistake is fatal. The Hillary Step, once a near-vertical final obstacle below the summit, has tested the limits of human resolve for decades. Those who push beyond exhaustion and fear enter the death zone, where survival itself becomes temporary. Yet for the few who stand on Everest's summit, time dissolves. The curvature of the Earth is visible. The sky darkens to an alien hue, and the world falls away in every direction. In that fleeting moment, the climber is not conqueror, but witness, humbled by a planet vast, powerful, and breathtakingly alive. The perils of climbing Nepal. Nepal's mountains inspire wonder, but they are also utterly unforgiving. Beneath the romantic image of snow-capped peaks lies a landscape that demands absolute respect. Places like Rainbow Valley, just below Everest's summit, and Thukla Pass on the way to base camp stand as unspoken memorials. Here, the brightly colored suits of fallen climbers remain where they lie, preserved by cold and altitude, silent reminders that ambition does not guarantee survival. In these heights, rescue is often impossible, and mistakes, no matter how small, are final. Nature's threats come without warning. Avalanches roar down slopes with the force of freight trains, triggered by warming temperatures or shifting ice. Glaciers move constantly, cracking and groaning beneath climbers' feet. Nowhere is this more evident than the Khumbu icefall, a chaotic maze of towering seracs and yawning crevasses that reshapes itself daily. Ladders span bottomless voids, ropes strain under weight, and every crossing is a gamble against time. Everest may be the tallest, but Annapurna is widely considered the deadliest. With unpredictable weather, steep avalanche-prone faces, and technical routes, it has claimed roughly 1 in 3 climbers who attempt its summit, a stark statistic that underscores the true cost of high-altitude ambition. Yet despite the danger, Nepal's high trails offer some of the most breathtaking landscapes on Earth. The Annapurna Circuit, stretching roughly 230 kilometers, carries travelers through an astonishing range of environments. Subtropical valleys give way to terraced rice fields, then to dense rhododendron forests that explode in red and pink during spring. Higher still, the land becomes stark and lunar, culminating in windswept passes framed by towering peaks. Turquoise waters like Tilicho Lake sit in surreal stillness, reflecting glaciers and sky in perfect symmetry. Scattered along these routes are villages that seem anchored to the mountains by sheer determination. Stone houses, prayer walls, and small monasteries cling to slopes where roads cannot reach. At the heart of this world are the Sherpa people, the true backbone of Himalayan mountaineering. With generations of mountain knowledge, they carry loads heavier than most climbers can lift, fix ropes across deadly terrain, and read weather patterns with extraordinary accuracy. Alongside them, yaks, sure-footed and tireless, haul supplies across snow and ice, sustaining life in places where modern infrastructure cannot exist. In Nepal's high realm, survival is not accidental. It is a finely honed skill, passed down through trust, tradition, and respect for the mountains themselves. Life between peaks and plains. Nepal's civilization thrives where logic suggests it should not. Life unfolds across some of the most extreme vertical terrain on Earth, where altitude, weather, and isolation test human endurance daily. In high-altitude settlements like Dingboche at 14,469 feet and Namche Bazaar at 11,000 feet, communities function as both lifelines and cultural crossroads. Markets bustle with yak butter, wool, and dried goods hauled across mountain passes, while tea houses serve trekkers and traders alike. Children chase footballs across sloped stone terraces, their lungs adapted to thin air most visitors struggle to breathe. Bronze statues of mountaineering legends like Tenzing Norgay stand watch, symbols of a people who see mountains not as obstacles, but as neighbors. Further north, Upper Mustang reveals a starkly different Nepal. Shielded from monsoon rains, this high desert resembles Tibet more than the lush hills below. Red cliffs rise like fortress walls, pierced by ancient sky caves carved directly into limestone faces. These caves hint at lost civilizations, once used for burial, meditation, or refuge during conflict. Sacred chortens and prayer walls line windswept paths, their stones etched with mantras worn smooth by centuries of devotion. Spiritual life anchors even the harshest landscapes. Tengboche Monastery sits dramatically on a ridge beneath Everest's looming presence, its golden roofs glowing against snow and stone. Monks chant as clouds race overhead, blending sound with wind. In nearby bamboo forests, red pandas move silently at altitudes few animals can tolerate, living proof that adaptation defines survival here. Between peaks and plains, Nepal demonstrates that civilization is not confined by comfort, but shaped by resilience. Kathmandu, a city of chaos and calm. Descending into the Kathmandu Valley feels like entering a different universe. After days of silence in the mountains, the city arrives in a surge of sound, color, and motion. Kathmandu is not a city that eases you in. It overwhelms, then slowly reveals its rhythm. Ancient temples rise beside concrete buildings, prayer wheels spin inches from roaring traffic, and centuries-old rituals unfold amid modern urgency. Durbar Square stands as the symbolic heart of this collision. Its palaces and pagoda temples, built by newer craftsmen, display intricate wood carvings that have survived dynasties, invasions, and earthquakes. Every beam tells a story, every courtyard carries echoes of coronations and festivals. Despite damage from the 2015 earthquake, restoration continues, stone by stone, guided by traditional techniques passed down for generations. Kathmandu's streets pulse with life. Vendors sell marigolds and incense. Tailors stitch garments beside shrines, and monks in saffron robes weave through crowds with quiet focus. Ascetics coated in sacred ash sit cross-legged near busy intersections, embodying stillness amid motion. Overhead, tangled electrical wires form a chaotic skyline, an unplanned monument to modern necessity, layered onto ancient infrastructure. Yet beneath the noise lies calm. At Buddhanath Stupa, pilgrims circle the massive dome in silent devotion. Prayer flags fluttering like whispered hopes. The rebuilt Dharahara Tower rises taller than before, a declaration of endurance. Kathmandu survives not by resisting change, but by absorbing it, balancing chaos and calm, in a city where history is lived, not preserved behind glass. Lumbini, birthplace of Buddha. In the quiet lowlands of southern Nepal lies Lumbini, a site defined not by grandeur, but by profound spiritual significance. It is here, in the Terai Plains near the Indian border, that Siddhartha Gautama was born around 563 BC, an event that would forever alter the course of human thought. Unlike Nepal's dramatic mountains, Lumbini's power is subtle, rooted in reflection, stillness, and the enduring presence of devotion across millennia. At the heart of Lumbini stands the Maya Devi Temple, constructed over a simple marker stone believed to indicate the exact spot of Buddha's birth. Excavations at the site have revealed brick structures dating back to the 3rd century BC, including stupas commissioned by Emperor Ashoka of India, one of the earliest and most influential patrons of Buddhism. Archaeological discoveries, including ancient monasteries, votive stupas, and inscriptions in Brahmi script, provide tangible links to a civilization committed to spiritual practice. The site is organized into several monastic zones, housing over 30 temples built by countries such as Thailand, Japan, China, Myanmar, Sri Lanka, and South Korea. Each temple reflects its nation's unique architectural style, yet all converge on the shared purpose of promoting peace, mindfulness, and compassion. UNESCO recognized Lumbini as a World Heritage Site in 1997, citing its outstanding universal value as both a sacred pilgrimage destination and a center of early Buddhist civilization. Every year, hundreds of thousands of pilgrims and tourists traverse Lumbini's shaded walkways, circumambulating stupas, lighting lamps, and chanting mantras. Monks tend eternal flames, bells ring softly in the breeze, and colorful prayer flags flutter along the paths, carrying symbolic messages of harmony and goodwill. Sacred Bodhi trees planted to honor Buddha's enlightenment offer spaces for meditation and quiet reflection. The surrounding Terai Plains, lush and fertile, contrast sharply with Nepal's rugged interior, reinforcing Lumbini's atmosphere of calm. Yet its influence extends far beyond its geography. Lumbini is living proof that Nepal's greatest contributions may not be measured in mountains or rivers, but in ideas that have shaped civilizations. Here, peace is not abstract, it is practiced step by step, breath by breath, radiating outward from a small birthplace that continues to guide humanity's moral and spiritual compass more than 2,500 years after the Buddha's first breath. Middle Hills. Tradition meets adventure. Nepal's Middle Hills form a living bridge between the icy heights of the Himalayas and the humid plains of the south. This region is where most Nepalese live, farm, and maintain traditions that have endured for centuries. Stone-built villages cling to ridgelines, their walls darkened by monsoon rains and generations of cooking fires. Terraced rice, millet, and maize fields carve precise patterns into mountainsides, preventing erosion while maximizing scarce arable land. Suspension bridges span deep river gorges, serving as lifelines that connect schools, markets, and families across otherwise impassable terrain. In villages such as Gandruk and Dampus, life unfolds at a human pace. Mornings begin with temple bells and the lowing of cattle, while evenings end with shared meals and storytelling. Hand-woven clothing, wood-carved windows, and communal labor reflect social systems built on cooperation, rather than convenience. Even as solar panels and mobile phones arrive, the core rhythms of daily life remain unchanged. Pokhara stands as the modern counterpoint to this ancient world. Nestled beside Fiwa Lake and beneath the Annapurna Range, it has become a global hub for adventure tourism. Paragliders ride thermal currents above forests and water, offering views once reserved for birds and deities. Ultralight aircraft skim mountain faces, kayakers challenge glacial rivers, and trekkers pass through villages where tea houses blend hospitality with tradition. Pokhara does not replace the past. It amplifies it, turning inherited mountain knowledge into opportunity while preserving the cultural soul of the hills. Terai Plains. Conservation and coexistence. The Terai Plains stretch like a green belt along Nepal's southern border, a region of heat, fertility, and ecological abundance. Fed by Himalayan rivers, these lowlands produce much of the nation's rice, wheat, and sugarcane, while also supporting some of South Asia's most endangered wildlife. Chitwan National Park lies at the heart of this balance, a protected landscape where grasslands, wetlands, and dense sal forests create a mosaic of life. Once devastated by malaria and unchecked hunting, the region has undergone one of Asia's most remarkable conservation turnarounds. One-horned rhinoceroses now graze openly, tiger populations have steadily increased, and elephant corridors allow seasonal migration. These successes are rooted in community-based conservation, where local people share responsibility for protecting wildlife while benefiting from tourism, education, and infrastructure investment. Still, coexistence is uneasy. Farmers guard fields at night against elephants and rhinos, and forest patrols track predators to prevent conflict. Floods and monsoons reshape the land annually, reinforcing nature's dominance. Birds fill the skies in spectacular numbers. Crocodiles slip silently through rivers, and predators move unseen through tall grass. In the Terai, survival depends on respect, an ongoing negotiation between human needs and ancient ecosystems. Unity in diversity. Nepal's cultural complexity rivals its geography, unfolding across valleys, mountains, forests, and plains with remarkable depth. With more than 120 spoken languages and dozens of ethnic communities, identity in Nepal is not singular or uniform. It is layered, fluid, and deeply local. Mountain peoples such as the Sherpa and Tamang have worldviews shaped by altitude and isolation, while newer traders of the Kathmandu Valley built urban cultures centered on commerce, craftsmanship, and ritual. In the southern plains, Tharu and Madhesi communities developed traditions tied to fertile land, rivers, and seasonal rhythms. Each group carries its own history, dress, cuisine, and social structure, yet all contribute to a shared national story. What binds this diversity together is not sameness, but coexistence. Religion in Nepal functions as a connective tissue rather than a dividing line. Hindu and Buddhist practices overlap so seamlessly that it is often impossible to separate them. Deities are shared, rituals interwoven, and sacred spaces frequented by followers of both traditions. A single temple may house Hindu gods alongside Buddhist iconography, reflecting centuries of mutual influence rather than competition. Major festivals like Dashain and Taiha transcend ethnicity and caste, bringing entire communities together through shared celebration, music, and ritual. Cultural memory is preserved not only in stone and scripture, but in performance. Folk songs, masked dances, and oral epics pass history from one generation to the next, especially in regions where written records were rare. These traditions encode moral values, ancestral knowledge, and collective identity, keeping the past alive in daily life. Nowhere is this coexistence more visible than in the Kathmandu Valley, where medieval palaces, towering stupas, and roadside shrines stand shoulder to shoulder along narrow streets. In historic towns like Gorkha, where Nepal's unification began in the 18th century, diversity became the foundation of nationhood. Unity in Nepal does not erase difference, it depends on it. demonstrating that cultural plurality, when nurtured, can be a powerful source of resilience, continuity, and national strength. The resilience of Nepal. Nepal's story is one of continuous adaptation, locked between two global powers and shaped by the most dramatic topography on Earth. It has survived without colonization, maintaining sovereignty through diplomacy, geography, and determination. Yet resilience is not just political, it is deeply personal. Earthquakes have reduced cities to rubble, most recently in 2015, testing national resolve. Landslides isolate communities, glaciers retreat, and climate change threatens water supplies far beyond Nepal's borders. Despite limited resources, recovery is driven by community action rather than institutions alone. Neighbors rebuild homes, trails are cleared by hand, and ancient construction techniques prove as effective as modern engineering. Nepal today stands at a crossroads, young, democratic, and evolving, while anchored in tradition. From the roof of the world to fertile lowlands, from silent monasteries to crowded bus parks, Nepal transforms hardship into identity. It is not simply a land of extremes. It is a testament to humanity's capacity to endure, adapt, and find meaning in the most demanding environments on Earth. As our journey through Nepal comes to an end, one thing becomes clear. This country is more than scenic landscapes or extreme adventure. It is a living testament to resilience, ingenuity, and harmony with nature. From mountain terraces carved by hand to sacred villages clinging to cliffs, each community tells a story of endurance, wisdom, and balance. Nepal shows us that progress does not always mean leaving tradition behind, and that beauty often lies in simplicity. If you enjoyed exploring this timeless country with us, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more journeys into hidden cultures, remote landscapes, and untold stories from around the world. Share this video with someone who loves travel, nature, or discovering places beyond the tourist trail. And let us know in the comments which part of Nepal inspired you the most, or which hidden destination you would love to see next. Until our next journey, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep searching for the beauty that lives off the beaten path.